back, folks. I'm Roger Ramsey, executive chef here at the Hardin County Schools Early College and Career Center, and you are at EC3 Really Cooks. My co-teacher, my dear friend and sous chef, Bobby Thompson's across the way. This is a show for Mr. Bobby. He came up with this idea. It's going to be one-pan meals, okay? So everything goes together, one pan, easy in, easy out. I'm going to make a dish for you. If you're familiar with TV chefs, it's Anna Garden. She had a program on in the store called The Barefoot Contessa. I don't know what a Contessa is. But anyway, she referred to this dish as engagement chicken. More on that in a minute. I'm also going to put together some do it all fancy pants for Anna Garden and The Barefoot Contessa. Also going to put together a little country dish of just sausage and cabbage. Think you'll like it. Mr. Bobby, he's going to go all fancy pants with some shrimp Alfredo. He's also got this thing he's called a taco skillet pizza. I haven't seen it yet. Kind of excited about it. So hang out with us here for just a little bit. We're going to make some food. We're going to talk about it, share a laugh, and then we'll move on. Thank you much. Be right back. Okay. Folks, like I said, I'm going to make this engagement chicken. The way that it was explained on the television show, several of Miss Garden's friends had made this dish for their significant others, and immediately thereafter consuming said chicken dish, they were asked to get married. So, I don't know, that was the story. It's a good story, I guess. The recipe calls for a chicken. Well, we're just using chicken breast. So this is a split breast that still has the wing attached. So I guess it'd be a breast quarter if there's such a thing. So we use the rest of the chicken for another dish. But anyway, so first thing we need to do is kind of dry off that chicken a little bit. Just get that extra moisture off, both sides. Then we're going to want to replace the water with oil. Now, while we're going to such measures, removing the water, adding the oil is going to help it brown. And that's what we want, golden brown and delicious. While we've got it upside down, let's put a little salt and pepper on it. Got to make it taste good. Turn her back over. A little oil. It's like 10 in a bottle. Good dose of salt and pepper. Now you notice I also have some lemons set out right here, just a couple of them. Said originally this dish is intended to use a whole chicken, and you would put those quarters of lemons inside the chicken. Well, we're not going to do that because we don't have a whole chicken. We've got breasts. It's like not the whole thing. So we're just going to take these and lay them out. Give them a little squeeze so they lay flat, and put our breast right there on top of them. What else have we got? More lemons and some onions and some garlics. More oil. More salt and pepper. And give it a little toss. Then we're going to take our onions, our lemons, and our garlic and just spread around our chicken. Maybe drop a piece of lemon in the floor. Maybe. And there's that. So there's nothing in there except chicken, garlic, onion, lemons, salt, pepper, a little bit of oil. That's all there is. That's all we need. So what we're going to do, we're going to roast this chicken off. Going to take about 45 minutes to an hour to cook. What we're going to do in about 30 minutes, check on it. We're going to hope the temperature somewhere there about 140, 135, 140. It won't be cooked through. But at that point, we're going to take these little petite gold potatoes, and we're going to put in there as well. Let them cook along with in that chicken fat. Sounds okay to me. Once the chicken's cooked through, we're going to take the chicken and potatoes out. We're going to add a little stock. Here it is. A little flour. There it is. We'll mix the flour into the stock. It's called a slurry. Keeps it from getting lumps. Then bring all the components that are left in the pan together as a sauce. So it will be flavored with the lemon, the onion, the garlic, and the chicken. Easy, right? So I've got to get this in the oven. We'll shoot it for about 30 minutes or so, take its temperature, see where we're at, and see if we're ready to put the potatoes in and move along. While I'm working on this, Mr. Bobby, I think he's going to start working, putting together that shrimp Alfredo for you. So I'm going to get my stuff cleaned up and give Mr. Bobby my tables. Be just a minute.
Welcome back to EC3 Really Cooks. It is our one-pan dinner or dish segment. Today I am doing a taco skillet pizza, Mexican pizza. Chef Ramsay said in the opening that he had never seen it. Well, I have neither. Started looking for different dishes. This is one that we found, so we're going to try to do that for us today. This is a 10-inch skillet. You can use it in the oven, which that is important. You can either use a cast iron one or one that is able to go into the oven directly. So that is one advantage to this pan, the reason we're using this pan. And the first thing you have to do is you have to brown some meat. This is actually a pork beef mixture. You can get them at most of our grocery stores around here. And what we're going to do is just brown this off, and we're going to drain it, and then we're going to actually make a cornbread crust. So on this, I've got a oven back there set on about 380 degrees. Once we get all of this kind of fixed up, it's a very simple dish, a lot less ingredients than I originally thought. There are extra ingredients to put on the top of it when we finish it, but the basics of it is not very difficult at all. So all you're wanting to do is brown the meat until it's no longer pink. Do understand that having a little bit of pinkness when you pull it off of here is okay, because it will continue to cook. So I'm going to turn the heat off. I have a bowl lined with some paper towels. This was a very lean meat, so there's not a lot of excess grease on it. And I forgot my towel, hold on. Sorry about that, I misplaced my towel. I'm going to wipe this out. Then I'm going to make up the cornbread. Now, it is a simple, the Jiffy brand cornbread, very simple. You need that package. I have 1/3 cup of milk, 1 egg, and then the thing that doesn't come with it in the package is these are crushed up tortilla chips. So all we have to do is add all of these ingredients together. Chef, can you grab me a stiff whisk, please?
There you are, sir.
Thank you. We're going to incorporate these ingredients first. And it will be a really, really like thick pancake batter consistency. We're just about there. So I'm going to add in, it says 1/3 cup of crushed tortilla chips. This is probably more like close to 1/2 cup. We're just going to fold these in so they are a part of it. And then what we're going to do is add it to our skillet. Now, anytime that you are cooking with cornbread or something like pancakes, any type of wet dough, you want to make sure that it evens out as much as possible. And really all you have to do is shake it back and forth, kind of twist it around, turn it, and it will even itself out, and it kind of evens it all the way across it so it's not going to be lumpier in one spot. I'm going to stick this in the oven. This is going to cook for about 12 minutes. I will be right back here. We're going to mix up the next part to this dish, and once we are able to pull out the crust from the oven, we'll assemble all of this, and we'll have our first ever here on the show, our taco skillet pizza. So we'll be right back. All right, we just stuck the cornbread mix into the oven. So now what we're going to do is build the toppings part, the main toppings part. So I drained out our ground beef and pork. Just going to set that into this bowl. We're going to add to it a cup of refried beans. We're going to add a third of a cup of salsa. That's a very basic, mild to medium salsa. And then we have 2 tablespoons of taco seasoning. Now again, on the seasonings on this, you can add a little bit more. If you wanted it a little hotter, add in some chili powder, whether that's mild chili powder or hot chili powder, your choice. It's a very simple, all I'm doing is just combining all of these ingredients together. And what will happen is, after I get the cornbread out of the oven, I'll spread this on the top of it, and it will resemble a pizza, and then we'll finish cooking it up, and we've got some extra toppings for that as well. We'll be right back again. This is one pot dinner meal today, or one pot dish today here on EC3 Really Cooks.
Right. Okay, folks, I'm going to put together, this will go a little bit quicker. It's a cabbage dish. Technically it's southern fried cabbage and sausage. I like all those things. So we've talked a lot about how we cut different vegetables. I don't think we ever talked about cabbage. I don't know if we've ever cooked cabbage. That's kind of unusual because I really like cabbage. So here is half a head of cabbage. Here is the other half a head of cabbage. To get from here to there, it's a fairly simple matter. There's a big core. You can see it right here. You can see if you can see it. Right here, the center popped out. I don't know, it's right here somewhere. But that's not good eats. That's tough and fibrous, so we want to get rid of it. Easiest way to do that is whack it in half. You can tell I've already done that. Now take your half and cut the half in half. Now it's called a quarter. I can do math. Now, you can see where that core's running right here. We're just going to whack it out. And it's not for us no more. The other one, same deal. Just whack that core out. Now, depending on what you're going to do with your cabbage, we're going to fry it. What I generally do is just put a couple of slits in it, straight down, turn it sideways, and cut it into your desired, I don't like that piece either, desired size. Now, if you were making, say, like coleslaw, where you need it shredded, probably you're going to start cutting it kind of like on a julienne. And you end up with something like ribbons. That's not what we're doing. We're going to fry it. We need a little more substantial pieces. So, back at it. Remember, keep your fingers tucked, please. Fingers away from the blade, please. If you get blood in your food, you have to throw it away. I'm just saying, nobody wants that. So there's our head of cabbage. Easy peasy. I just don't recall that we never talked about cabbage. It's like a good time to talk about it. Other than the cabbage, we've got some andouille sausage. We've talked about that before. It's a spicy smoked sausage. Don't like it spicy, get a different kind of smoked sausage. Don't want pork in it, get beef sausage. Make it yours. We're doing this for us. If it's a restaurant, we have to follow the menu. We have to make the recipe the way the menu says. Else you look for a new job. You're working in your kitchen, you make it yours. Make it the way you like it. We got our sausage. We've got an onion. Recipe says minced. I'm sorry, it says chopped. Well, chopped means a lot of things. We don't like the word chopped in the kitchen because there's no standard to it. So we either call it diced or what I did, I just julienne it. So they're little slices of sorts. Okay, so that's a julienne. That's what I like. Got a little garlic up in here, about 4 cloves minced. That's smaller, regular pieces. There's no standard in either, but we can get away with it. It actually is a classic cut. Chopped is not, minced is. We've got our cabbage. We discussed that. A little apple cider vinegar. A little bit of Cajun seasoning with a touch of crushed red pepper. Again, don't want it spicy? Just use the Cajun seasoning. You want it more spicy? Use more pepper. It's easy. There's a little nutmeg in there as well. And we've got some brown sugar. So we've got apple cider vinegar and brown sugar. So we've got a little sweet and sour actually going on. Classically, it's called gastrique. And a little butter to start everything off. So I'm going to take my supplies over to the cast iron skillet and we'll start cooking. So come over here with me. All right, so folks, here we are at the old cast iron skillet. Why use cast iron? It's big, it's heavy, it's clunky. Well, that's exactly why we want to use it. It's big and it's heavy and it holds heat really well. So we're going to take our butter or bacon fat or lard or duck fat or whatever type of fat you have, your lipid of choice. And we're going to melt it down, about 3 tablespoons, melt it down in our cast iron. How's your cornbread looking, Mr. Bobby? So once we've gotten our butter melted, we're going to add our sausage in. It says a single layer. Well, ain't nobody got time for all that. I was going to lay it out as best I can with a pair of tongs. Now, a couple reasons why we start with the sausage. I think we've talked about it before because we've used several different smoked sausages for several different recipes. But all those extra spices and the smoke that impregnates the meat will be leached out into our cooking fat, our butter. And it will be carried through the rest of the dish. So once we get our sausage a little brown on it, we'll pull it out. We'll add our onions, sweat those down, get a little color on those. Then we're going to add our cabbage. And each one of those layers is going to have the fat and the seasoning and the smoke from the sausage. So that's going to take just a minute. I'm going to go grab a spoon and my seasoning and I'll be right back. All right, folks, we've got a little bit of color on our sausage. We've got some of the fat from the sausage rendered out into our butter. So we're going to move along. Take all the sausage out because we're going to need all the pan to work with. Our 1 onion, julienne. Turn the heat down just a little bit. That'll make the onions taste good. A little salt, pepper. the onions are about 3/4 of the way done. Let's go ahead and add our garlic. Remember, garlic has a bunch of sugar in it. It burns easily. So you just want to get it in, give it a couple of stirs till you can smell it, it becomes fragrant, and let's add our cabbage. Now that just sucked a lot of heat out of that pan. So our garlic's safe, but we have to start building the heat back up to cook the sausage. And as is usual, everything goes in the pan, gets seasoned. Season in layers. We're going to stir our cabbage and fry it, stir fry, probably 4 or 5 minutes or so. What's going to happen as it's cooking, it's going to start leaching out its water. There's a lot of water in it. And then that water will start evaporating, which steams the cabbage, makes it cook a little quicker. How about that? It's cooking itself. I can go on home. Now, if when we started this venture, you said to yourself, Chef's got an awful lot of cabbage there. You can see as it cooks, giving up its moisture, it wilts and it shrinks. We will end up with about 1/3 of the total volume as what we started with. The royal court has arrived. Take its temperature if you would, sir. There's cabbage in the floor. I don't know who did it. Okay. Cabbage about halfway cooked. Let's start adding in our season. We've got our brown sugar. It will melt. We've got our apple cider vinegar. It will evaporate. Oh, that smells good. And we've got our Cajun seasoning with a little bit of crushed red added to it. Oh, I nutmeg. Forgot the nutmeg. Now, we're going to add our sausage right back into the mix. Turn the heat way down. Throw a lid on it and let it go of its own devices for probably about 5, maybe 10 minutes. And that's it. Quick, fast, and in a hurry. And good. So, I'm going to put a lid on. I'll just walk over here and talk to you. I'm going to put the lid on my pan, let my cabbage do its thing, and finish sweating down. Give the floor and your attention back over to Mr. Bobby. He's still working on this taco skillet thing that I'm excited about. So he'll be back with you in just a bit.
Welcome back to One Pot Meals here on EC3 Really Cooks. We put our cornbread tortilla chip mixture into the oven. It took just about 6 minutes or so to get that finished. It's the golden brown delicious. So what we're going to do now is top it with our refried beans, ground beef, salsa mixture, a little bit of taco seasoning on it. And what we want to do is push this, only leave about 1 inch on the sides. So we want to cover this just as you would if you were making a regular pizza pie. Take it almost to the edge. I'm sure that a red sauce is easier to move around than refried beans. So try to even this out as best we can. Then you're going to top it with cheese. This is just a mixture. There's some Kobe Jack, there's some cheddar, there's some queso. This is Mexican style from a local grocer. I like cheese, so I put all of it on there as I can. I think it called for a cup, and I've probably used a cup and a half. So we're now going to throw this back in the oven. It's going to cook for about 3 or 4 minutes total, and then it'll be finished. We'll come out and we'll show you some different toppings that we can put on it. Welcome back to EC3 Really Cooks. It is our one-pot meals. Our taco skillet Mexican pizza has come out of the oven. The cheese is all melted. Now some toppings. This is obviously up to you. I have some torn romaine lettuce here. We're just going to sprinkle that on and around it. I am not a big tomato person, so I did not actually do any tomatoes, but small cherry tomatoes cut in half or quartered would be really good on that. If you had diced up maybe a Roma tomato, that could work on there. I do have some onion that is here. You could do raw, or this is raw, but you could also do a, have them cooked already, brown them off, saute them, and put them on there. And then I'm just going to add some green bell pepper. If I thought ahead, I would have used a red bell pepper just to add some extra color to it. Going to add just a dollop of sour cream right in the center, and then lastly top it off with some chopped up cilantro. And so we will dig into this near the end of the show and can give you a better review on how it is, but here is just a one-pot meal, the taco skillet Mexican pizza.
Folks, I'm afraid I lied y'all when I introduced this show. I told you we're making a Gauge chicken. It's doing its thing in the oven. Cabbage is pretty much done. Mr. Bobby's got his taco skillet pizza working. Does look pretty good. He's going to put that Alfredo for you together still. I forgot I had a piece of salmon I want to make for y'all. Let's do that real quick, okay? So we're going to start out with a little salt and pepper on our fish. Remember, if you're going to serve fish with the skin on, you better make it crispy. If you can't make it crispy, you do better just to take it off altogether. That's not complicated either. We're going to leave it on. A little salt and pepper. In our skillet, a little butter. Spatula. See how the spatula trained? I called its name and it came to me. All right, we've got some asparagus here. These are tiny little goobers. They're little. Sometimes they get big. If they're bigger than about pencil size, do yourself a favor and blanch them. A little boiling water, a minute or so, pull them out to an ice bath to stop them from cooking. They'll cook more evenly in the skillet, okay? These are little tiny ones. We've not got an issue with it. So, oil's good and hot. Our butter fat, that is, skin side down. Lots of heat for just a minute or so. Trash. Aside from our fish and our asparagus, we have a little crushed red pepper, a little garlic, squeeze of lemon, and then some lemon wedges for garnish. Don't burn your butter. This shouldn't take but just a minute to crisp up that skin, and we'll flip the fish over, get it started cooking on the flesh side, and then take it out all together. Okay, we're going to set that aside for just a minute. We're going to stir in our crushed red pepper. That just flavored the oil. We're going to add in our garlic. That add a little more flavor to the oil. Then we're going to squeeze in our lemon. Help cool that oil down so it doesn't burn our garlic. And with the asparagus, we have more than we needed. And that was only one bunch at the Priceless grocery. Let's cool it off a little more with some chicken stock. Put the heat back to it. We want that chicken stock to reduce just a little bit. We're going to go ahead and put our fish back on it. Trust that while that chicken stock is evaporating, it'll help steam the fish. And for all intents and purposes, it'll take a minute there on the steam, but it's done. Quick, fast, and in a hurry. One pan. We've got extras. What the heck? What are we going to do with it? Lemon wedges for a garnish when we plate it. Easy peasy. Let's get Mr. Bobby back up here. He's going to put together some shrimp for you.
Welcome back to EC3 Really Cooks. I'm going to make now in one pot a garlic shrimp Alfredo. The garlic shrimp, that all can be changed to a different protein. You can do different types of pasta. There's so many things that you can do with this techniques or the things that I'm going to talk about. As far as the protein to get in it, what types of noodle you use, there's just so many different things that you can do from this one idea, I guess, so to speak. Now, what we're going to do is I have this, it is a non-stick wok that I have, and I'm going to do everything in this. Now, if I was at home, I would use two pots. One pot is a pasta pot. I can put pasta in there pretty quickly. The other pot would be a saucepan. Today, I'm going to do it all in one. The pasta I'm going to use today is called penne. It's just very short, kind of angled ends on there. I like it. It has ridges in it, so it'll grab the sauce. You can use thin spaghetti. You could use fettuccine as the most popular one. I personally don't like the hard fettuccine in the box. They stick together when they get inside the boiling water, and you've got to kind of rip them apart from each other. The penne, it doesn't happen as often there. So just about any pasta you can use for this dish. Now, I call it garlic, and I use garlic on every step of this process. So when I have the pot on, and I'm going to start boiling this, every chef will tell you you need to have salted water. And so it's very simple. Put some salt in it. I do a little bit more than that. I will use pepper as well. I'll use some garlic powder in it. And then lastly, I add some olive oil to it. Now, about 10 minutes ago, I did all of this in this pan, and I actually didn't put in my pasta. And it's very rare that on EC3 Really Cooks we prepare anything before we actually do it. But I'm going to take this. I would have brought it to a boil. The pasta says 8 to 10 minutes is when you should pull it. Personally, I like it a little al dente, so I pull it closer to the 8 minutes than the 10 minutes. And when you pull it, you've got to drain it at that time. If you were to just pull it from the heat, the water that is still at a boiling temperature would continue to cook your pasta, and it gets a little bit chewy, is a better word. It doesn't taste like pasta should. So I pull it out right at the 8-minute mark. When I pull it out, I add salt and pepper back to it along with some olive oil that keeps it from grabbing each other. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take care of our shrimp. Now, I just have large shrimp, thawed these out yesterday. I used a very, very basic seasoning, a Caribbean jerk style seasoning along with a Cajun seasoning. Neither of those are super hot. We have a Caribbean jerk here at school that adds a lot of spice and heat to a dish. This is not that, so it doesn't add quite as much heat to it. But to start this off, we're going to take a little bit of butter. Let me turn my pan on. The other part, and I'm going to try to slide a bunch of things in. I know we've got our side camera here. So when I add to this I'll put my butter in first. You only need a couple of tablespoons of butter, which again, that's about a quarter of a stick. I'll let that start to melt. I have garlic cloves, and all I've done, I cut the end of it off. Well, lay my knife on top of it flatways, kind of breaks it up, and then just go through it a couple of times. Now, usually I would throw a lot of people would throw the garlic in now. I wait until after I put the shrimp in it. So the butter is basically melted. Add in the shrimp, and then I'm going to add in, it's about 3 cloves of garlic that I had crushed up there. And as we've done on some other shows, shrimp cooks pretty quickly. I have to turn it a few times. They're starting to pink up. Should only take a few minutes. We also added salt and pepper to those while they were yesterday when we thawed them out. So again, it doesn't take very long. They'll start to turn that pink and white color. So now I'm going to pull these. I'm going to use a slotted spoon, so I leave behind that butter and some of the garlic. All right. So the last part to this is the Alfredo sauce. And I use 2 different types of garlic on it. Put 2 tablespoons of butter back in. So these are roasted garlic. Bought this from one of our local grocers. In order to roast garlic, they roast it in an oven for a long time. Basically, they squeeze it out and all of the pods come out of it. I like buying it from them. I think it has a little bit deeper taste than just chopped up garlic. I think it holds up better in some of the heat. Then the other garlic I have is black garlic. Now I purchased this from World Foods in Louisville, and I like the way that it adds something to it when I mix it in with the rest of the ingredients to this Alfredo sauce. It just seems to cook a little bit better, taste a little bit better. So I'll turn the heat back on, get our leftover garlic and butter mixture. I also use heavy cream. You can use milk, you can use half and half. There is a wide range of different milks that you could use. Heavy cream is basically, they haven't added as much water to it. How you get from heavy cream to half and half is add water. How you get from half and half to 2%, 1%, so on and so forth, is add water. So the way that I put this garlic in this, I'm actually going to smash it because the roasted ones and the black ones are all very, very soft. And it's usually, I don't know, 3-to-1 ratio that I use on this. Now I'm going to run my knife across it Now come back the other way, same. All I'm doing is really mincing this up really fine. It does mess up a clean cutting board. So now I've got it in. I'm going to go about 30 seconds, 45 seconds. Kind of get this mixed in there again. We say it, I think, on every show, garlic will burn. Now I'm going to add my milk. Now, everybody's a little different. That's probably 2 cups there. We are going to add some salt and pepper. We do not have to add a lot of salt because what we are going to do is add in some Parmesan cheese. It is a very salty cheese. And what you're trying to do is to get this to thicken up. Now, in most non-stick items or dishes, pans, you should not use metal. This one you're allowed to. Always bring a couple of spoons. Heading in the right direction. More pepper. Starting to simmer on the outsides, that's what you're looking for. It kind of gets up to that higher heat. And now we're going to take our microplaner and just going to get in some of this Parmesan. Turn our heat down. And again, the Parmesan has quite a bit of salt in it. It's one of the saltier cheeses that is out there. Oh yeah. So now our Alfredo sauce is thickened. And now, everybody back in the pool. So we're going to add in our pasta. We're going to add in our shrimp. And now everything has been cooked, so I can turn off the heat. This will continue to tighten up a little bit as we go along. But to finish it off, add some fresh parsley and a little more of that Parmesan cheese on top. And there is 1 pot garlic shrimp Alfredo. We'll be right back and we'll give all of our dishes here that we've done today in our 1 pot series. We do want to thank Jeremy Miller. He's our guy behind the scenes with us, does lighting, graphics, our microphones, making sure everything's working, making sure he flips them off when we leave the kitchen and go somewhere else. But really do want to thank him and our entire HCEC-TV staff. So we'll be right back on EC3 Really Cooks as we wrap up today's 1 pot meals.
Well, folks, that's our 1-pan meal. How about that? Well, y'all weren't looking. I finished up the engagement chicken. Just like I told you, it got to about 135 degrees. We put those potatoes in, let them finish on out. The chicken to 165. And potatoes are cooked through. There's a little color on the onions and the garlic and even the lemons. We took the potatoes and chicken out, added our chicken stock slurry in, brought it to a boil and made the sauce. There it is. Engagement chicken our way. We've got our impromptu surplus extra asparagus and salmon with a little lemon, a little Louisiana hot sauce. We've got our country style, southern style fried cabbage with sausage. We've got Mr. Bobby's taco skillet pizza thing. I still want to get into that. We'll see what that's about. And Mr. Bobby's Alfredo with shrimp and garlic. So, one pan. Most of them quick and easy. One pan. How about that? So, we can do it. You can too. It's not complicated. Easy peasy. Folks, appreciate you coming to visit. Again, I'm Roger Ramsey. You met Mr. Bobby. We appreciate y'all staying for our tour. Please come back and visit next time here on EC3 Really Cooks. And in the meanwhile, if by chance you might have an event coming up looking for a caterer, well, that just so happens to be how our kids fund our pathway. We have our own catering operation. So give us a call, shoot me an email, let's see if we can do business together. Again, folks, I appreciate your time. Stay well, and we'll see you next time.